continuing to get better and learn more about these different things. But this framework can be used almost anywhere. And the basic idea is you start from left to right, in which first we want to start by first understanding your ready state. So how ready are you to go and do business? And it's not just about, do you have your license, or do you have a target market picked out? It's more about, are you mentally prepared to do business? Do you understand where you want to be 3 years from now? Do you really understand what that goal is? Do you have a clear vision of what value you bring to the table? Because there's over 5,000 licensed agents in Arizona. I don't know about a national state, but
there's 5,000 EXP agents.
Just EXP.
Just EXP. There's over 43,000 licensed Arizona agents.
Okay.
Not all of them are active. But,
yep. But that just gives a glimpse into one small market. The Phoenix market is just a small market, but if you expound upon that, there's a lot of competition out there. So we really want to understand what each of us uniquely bring to the situation so that we can better articulate that and communicate that to our clients so that they can trust us to help them with one of the biggest purchases in their life, if we're talking real estate. But once we've done that, we really focus on our target market and our assessment, making sure that we truly understand who we're serving and how we can best serve them. And then we go about building our skills. And this is really the system development part. And this is where a lot of the tools and resources and a lot of time that Kenyatta and I have spent was around the systemizing of this. Because once you understand where you want to go and you understand who you want to serve, now you got to put a systemized thing into place that's going to help you systematically achieve that goal. Because if you're doing a bunch of sporadic different things, your time and energy is going to get wasted, and you're going to get frustrated. You're not going to be able to keep up with those different things. So we spend a lot of time developing standard operating procedures. We have these weekly calls in which we're going to have a structured training. So you're going to know each week what we're going to be going over. We're going to be bringing in subject matter experts from different fields, agents who are crushing it in their markets, who are in all over the United States. So we're going to get large perspectives, but our main goal and our intent is to develop a system, something that can repeat, and it's going to be customized to you. Okay. And then the fourth and last final piece is the adjust and repeat. Especially in a market like today where things are constantly changing from week to week, it's important that you're able to set a goal, but then also set measurable metrics, they call them, or stats that you can measure how good your system is working, because there's a lot of systems out there that just don't work, So it's important that once we set up your system, when you're meeting with us one-on-one once a month, or depending on what program you're with, we sit down and we look at your system, and then we look at the results. Because from there, by expressing and sharing your experience with all of us on the call and everybody on our Slack groups and everybody that you meet, you're able to hear from all of us and all of our different perspectives and how that might be able to change and slightly adjust whatever system you have in place so that you can get more results. So next, I'm just going to go into some small details related to each of these different phases, and then I'm going to lay out how we're going to put this whole thing together. Okay, so a big topic you're going to see once you get on these one-on-one meetings with Kenyatta and myself is going to be laid out and really specific around first defining what is your goal, like what is, and the way that we would define your goal is also related to your why. These two things are very important. Kenyatta is going to go into a lot of detail later around how you can go and build a why that really motivates you, why you do business, why you come to work every day. But I really like to focus on what is your goal and frame it into a minimum success criteria. Okay, so just like this slide says, if you could think 3 years from now, and you're a real estate agent, let's say, and you're 3 years from now, what would you deem to be a successful business 3 years from now? Is it, do I want to make $200,000 in gross commission income every year? That means that, am I able to sell enough houses to make $200,000 in just home sales? Do I want to have 20 agents under me doing X amount of sales? or do I want to have 5 different investment properties making me X amount of money in annual recurring revenue? It's important that you tie goals to something that's measurable. And this is a concept that we'll go into later on, which is just basically SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, repetitive, and time bound. We'll go into a lot of details about that later, but it's important about putting a number on it, because when you put a goal out 3 years from now, you understand where you want to be 3 years from now, but it's not going to be a straight line. A lot of people mess up when they think about it, that it's just going to be a straight line up to where they want to be. It's going to be a slow, gradual line up, right? It's going to be a curve. Most businesses in types of markets, it's like an S curve. You go up, you reach your peak, and then you start to plateau. But then once you start to plateau, you need a new system to get to where you want to be next. So then you S back up. So we're going to go into a lot of these different things around constantly adjusting your system to meet your goal. And I'll show you later on how you can kind of back engineer that, but that's what we're really going to be focusing on. Next, we want to understand who do you want to serve and what problems do those people have? You know, real estate is a very broad term. There's so many different ways to make money out of real estate, which is why I love doing it. Why there's so many different industries that are related to it. You could be a buyer's agent, a listing agent, you could be an investor, you could be a referral agent. Maybe you just have a bunch of friends that live all over the nation and they need and they're moving and they're asking you. You can make 25% of a commission just for referring someone to another agent. You can also make money if you're within EXP on training and helping other people become successful in whatever their business is. So it's first about understanding what type of real estate do you want to do? And then what are the customer problems that those types of people are having right now? They call it empathy, or living in the shoes of somebody else. You have to be an empathetic person in order to truly deliver a product that matters, or a service that somebody will pay for. So we spend a lot of time kind of sitting down with you and understanding how big is the market? You know, if you want to do house flipping right now, how big is the house flipping market in your area? You know, this is a question that we'll go through and will help you kind of dig through the numbers and really understand where you could put your money and do these different types of things. But it all breaks down to who's your target customer and how can we better understand them. So this is the second phase that we go into. There's a bunch of different ways that you can reach your customer. Here's some that are just on the screen, and it's all going to depend on what type of customer you have. You know, home flippers or investors, they're going to be sitting in different places than where buyers are going to be, you know? So like, I think a large majority of home searches are first done on Zillow, realtor.com, these places. So if you wanted to be a buyer's agent, then we might direct you to start to look at how can you get more looped into these systems where buyers are going to look. So first you figure out who your customer is, and then the next thing you figure out is how can I best reach that person? And then we start to put a system together that's going to help you get in front of that person more and more often. So that's what we're really focusing on in the second phase, which is the target market phase. And this is related to any type of industry. And it looks like I didn't put all my animations on. So here is what we call the system development phase. And we're still taking votes for what we should call this thing. But we're calling it the customer engine right now. So Kenyatta's got a car background. He knows a lot about cars and stuff. So maybe we can think of a good name. But this is the customer engine, and this is what we really want to build for each and every one of you. And this is what we're working on building for our own group. When we build this community, it's going to be based around this same exact kind of model. Okay. So the first thing you want to focus on is generation. How do you generate leads? How do you get your name out there? So as a brand new agent, you're going to have a different strategy for getting your name out there and generating it than maybe a more experienced agent would. So we're going to start to figure out what are the ways that you can first achieve the first step, which is generation. So how can I get people into my engine? This is your fuel that's going to fuel up your car engine. Then once you've done that, we want to help you convert that client into a successful into a successful closed transaction. So the conversion part. So how do you successfully navigate a transaction? You know, there's over 200 different steps in any given transaction, and there's over 8 different people that could be involved. You know, you got your lender, you got your buyer, you got your seller, you got your agent, you got title. So we help you understand how can you keep all of those things together so you can increase the percentage and the likelihood that you're going to have a successful transaction, in which you can get the last thing, which is your revenue. Okay. And your revenue is all based on your goal. So once you figure out how much money you want to make, you can figure out how many leads you need to have. And then based on how many leads you have, you can figure out how many of those leads do I need to convert into paying customers so that I can make that money. Okay. And then the last two, which are often forgotten by people, but they actually have the majority of business is done, are referrals and second customers. We all want repeat customers. We all want people who enjoyed our services and would refer us to somebody else. I read a stat that 53% of listing transactions are actually done from people who referred the agent to their friend. So I sold a house, my agent was really good. I referred him to my buddy down the street who was doing it. So the better you are at getting referrals and the better you are at retaining happy customers, the less leads you have to have. Because if every customer that you help refers a friend who ends up contracting you, then that is so much money saved in the amount of time and effort and money that you need to put into paying for leads or mailing to an address or door knocking or cold calling. So this is just kind of how we look at putting your customer engine, your system together. And we have a lot of partners. We have Angie Hernandez along with a bunch of others who are social media experts. We have lenders who have networks with different buyers. We have a lot of different things that we can start to connect you with and plug you into so that you can start to create a system that you can start to follow. All right, so any questions real quick before I hop into like a visual version of this? I know I've been talking like a lot, so I just want to make sure everybody's good. All good. Okay. So I've tried to show you this. What I have on the screen is kind of the way that you can think about back engineering or starting with your big number and then working back from your big number to figure out exactly how many transactions or how many products or how many services that you would need to sell. So you can translate this across anything. If you're in insurance or some other type of business and you say, I want to have $500,000 in insurance sales. Well, you can start to back engineer that and to figure out, okay, how many leads do I need to have? How many of these different things? So what I've done here on the screen is started with our first number on the left, which is our revenue. So in this example, I said, in 3 years from now, I want to have $1 million in gross commission. So I'm saying 1 year from now, I want to sell enough houses to make $1 million in commissions just off of the sale of my house. So now when I think about that $1 million in commission, I got to pick what type of market I would want to sell what type of market am I going to get this $1 million out of? So in my situation, the medium value house in my area is $700,000. So if I was to say, how many of these $700,000 houses am I going to need to sell in order to get $1 million in gross commission? So gross commission, I'm saying on average is 3% for real estate, at least. So when you do that calculation, it turns out you need about 48 transactions for the whole year in order to get that. Okay, so now I know I need 48 transactions. Spread that out across 12 months. I think that's 4 transactions a month about. So in order to get those 48 transactions, now I need to kind of figure out how many leads, really how many conversations do I need to have in order to get that 48 transactions. So based on the National Realtors Association, they said it's about 1 to 2% of every lead converts into a paying customer. So that's a pretty low percentage. So with that, and that's just across all realtors, you know, active and non-active, basically saying if you talk to 2,400 different people, about 2% of those would turn into a successful transaction at the end. But what's really important about this 2% number is this is where you can really make your money. This is this 2% conversion rate. And that's where what we're going to be mostly focused on is increasing our conversion rate, because we think 2% is too low. We want to be able to, through our tools and our systems and our processes and sharing knowledge and information with one another, we can increase our conversion rate. So instead of only 2 out of 100 customers that you talk to end up signing you and letting you represent them in a real estate transaction, we're going to teach you tools and techniques and different ways that you can go about speaking to those people, so that you may be able to increase that from 2% to 5%. You know, or if you're a super rock star and you know exactly what your customer's pain is, you can speak directly to it. You know all the answers about your market. You're a market expert. Maybe you can get even higher than 5% conversion rate. Well, guess what? That means you have to have way less conversations, and you're most likely going to get more referrals. So it's going to be much better for you and much easier for you to meet whatever your goal is. So I hope that you can kind of understand the thinking around this, in the sense that where you really want to focus your time is around increasing your conversion rate and really getting better at having these conversations. And the way that you do that is by really the first 2 steps: value proposition and target market. The better that you can communicate what value you bring and really understand what market you're trying to serve, the better you're going to be able to communicate that and increase your conversion rates. And then lastly, I think this is my favorite part, because this is really free money for you, is the sense that about 53% of people who listed their homes were referrals. So if you get really good at the first part of your business and the conversions, and you really focus on, once I have a successful sale, I send them a review. They tell me how the service was. I ask them to refer me to a friend. The more that I can get them to refer, the more likely I am to get free customers. And in this formula right here, if we just said 53% and there were 48 transactions that year, that means about half of those people are going to refer someone that's going to pay. That's an additional 15 clients that I just got. And that's going to help me increase my likelihood of getting to what my number is. So I hope you can kind of see how all of these different things tie together, and the way that we really approach this development process. And we're really excited to really dial deep and really refine these things as we go, because this is really going to, like I said, we want to establish a really clean and consistent feedback loop between our agents and our members, so we can really understand, hey, you know what, Kenyatta, Teray, this really worked. I didn't think about, I ran into this problem. And that's how we're going to help all of us get better and continue to improve and really refine how we can help our own unique target customers. But in a way that you can kind of continue to get better are these systems and tools that we've already developed. We have all the listing SOPs, we have buyer SOPs, we have professional scripts. We plan on setting up role-playing sessions between our members, so that we can get better at our cold calling and our different types of scenarios, because each of our different systems are going to have different strategies. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the conversations that you have. So if we can get better at communicating with one another and really overcoming objections and doing these different things, that's going to be one of the key elements that we speak and talk about over the next couple of months. So how's this all going to work? Like Teray, you talked about all these different things. Like how the heck are we going to actually learn this? It's going to be a combination of 2 things. And once you sit down with us on our one-on-one, we'll go through all this in a lot more detail. But it's going to be a mixture of weekly coaching calls. So today, 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, we're going to be coming back and we're going to be teaching different topics related to each one of these different phases. But then second, which is the most valuable part, is going to be the monthly one-on-one coaching session. So Kenyatta and I and we're starting to recruit some more coaches that are going to come in with us. We're going to sit down with you, and basically everything that I just talked about over the last 20 minutes, we're going to sit down and help build out for you. So when you think about the end of the 6 months, you're going to come out of it with a full program of, okay, this is where I know my target customer is. This is how I want to reach them. And then you'll have an exact idea of where you need to go, who you need to speak to, and then you can start to find ways to adjust and tweak it over time as you learn more about your customer. Because as you start to work with them more, you're going to realize, oh, I keep hearing about this problem, or I keep hearing about this. And then we really hope to continue to build this out. I'm really going to start my up in my communication on here this week is our Slack channel. So that's the number 3 right there. I didn't change the wording on this, but this is our live internal team chat. So I know a lot of you are already on it, but if not, please sign up, download the app, sign up now. We're going to be posting just different news about different real estate news. We're going to let you know about all of our partner events, upcoming events. Kenyatta always does like different motivational things. So we're just going to try to build our community here. I'm going to build a page out that's going to be just if you have a question, hey, I'm trying to look at this part of the market, or I have a question here. The hope would be that everybody can chip in and answer questions, and we can really start to build this community. So like I said, this is all going to be about you and helping us all grow together. So how does this next 6 months really look? So what I have here up on the screen right now is just a layout of the next 6 months from September to February. And what this is showing are the general topics that we're going to cover over the next 6 months. And this is specifically going to be the group calls. So individually, we're all at different stages in our real estate career. Some of us don't have licenses. Some of us have licenses with multiple agents under us. Others of us just got our real estate license. Or someone else, they may just want to get into a new industry and they never have done it before, and they want someone to help them kind of figure that out. So we're not going to build the whole program around the individual, but we're going to take our whole group into account in the sense that we're going to have a structured topics that we're going to cover throughout the next 6 months, so that everybody can kind of generally gauge and learn together as we go. And within each one of these different topics, we're going to bring in different subject matter experts. So we have a lot of different partners. Specifically with the target market, we're going to bring in our social media people. When it comes to ready assessment, Cinnamon Vo, she does a really, really great job on all the psychology behind goal setting and these different things. We got wholesalers, we got flippers, we have our lending partners who are going to come. So we're going to start to build this calendar out over time. But really, when it comes to it, the first 3 months are going to be around the ready assessment, 2 months, 2 to 3 months. Then the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months is going to be about your target market. So there we're going to help you define who your customer is, what their problem is. And then lastly, the third session leading into the new year is going to be all about laying out your plan for 2023. It's going to be about, okay, now you understand what your value is. Now you understand what your customer is. Let's lay out an actual plan that's going to help you achieve whatever that goal is going to be. And this is all going to go into coordination with what we're doing with our one-on-one meetings. And each time, if you think about that, you're going to have 6 1-hour one-on-one sessions with Kenyatta and myself over these next 6 months, in which we're really going to make this unique and specify it to you, because this is all general concepts, but we can fit it into each one of you as we start to meet with you and better understand how we can best help. So that's really a high level overview. And then again, here's some specific trainings that I already have planned in terms of what Kenyatta and I are going to teach. So we're going to have partners coming in, but Kenyatta and I are also going to do deep dive classes on specific things that we think are crucial. So for me, I'm a tech guy. I think technology is just the way to better multiply yourself in this world. It's better to get your word out there if you can learn how to efficiently use technology. And when it comes to any type of business, the first thing you really want to understand is, how can I build my database of supporters. Your first early, you can call them early adopters, you can call them your sphere. They're just general people who would support you. This is your first step when you think about any type of problem or solution that you want to do. And then once you have a good idea of who those people are, you want to put them into a system. And with EXP, as we're EXP agents, we have something called KV Core, which is a customer relationship management system. And that's what we're going to be teaching a class on, is just generally, how do you set this thing up? And then how can I actually use it? You know, we've been using it over the last 2 years. We have a really great handle on what works, what really like, what do customers really like, or where should you really spend the majority of your time first? And then once we've done that, we're going to get into contract writing. So I know Kenyatta really is passionate about this because it's a tricky time in the market right now, especially as things are changing. People are getting desperate. It's getting more and more important that you understand how to identify and be specific about contracts, and really understanding how you can best represent your client's interests and be wary, and also position offers and different things in a way so that your client can see the overall benefit and what could be some potential drawbacks. And then lastly, we'll talk about lead generation and different ways that you can get in touch with your customers. So any questions? I know there's a lot, so we can save the questions for now. I think that's okay. I think we can just talk about what's next. So what's next is going to be, we sent out an email prior to this call to everyone who's already expressed interest in joining the program, in which you're going to set up your first one-on-one meeting with Kenyatta and myself. Once there, we're going to kind of get a detail in on what's your current situation, and then we're going to help sign you up for the program and set up what's going to be the initial layout for your specific plan. And then once you've committed, you really got to make an effort to join us on these weekly calls. The call time might adjust based on our group and what times fit their schedules the best. We are a nationwide team, so we have folks on the East Coast, as well as all the way on the Pacific, where Kenyatta currently is. So we want to find a time that works best for everybody. But we're going to get that information through these one-on-one meetings. So what I just flashed up on the screen, this is going to be what we generally are going to be following over the next 6 months. So we'll release some communications with specifically who's going to be teaching what courses as we go. But in general, this is going to be how we're going to be following what we're going to be teaching over these next 6 months. So a lot of the content and the specifics are going to be covered in these one-on-one meetings. So,
and each class, even though it's only showing 3 different categories, they're going to be packed with tons of information. So don't just think of it as you're going to be stuck in one area. No. There's much more. It's very in-depth and very detailed.
Yep, exactly, Kenyatta, because this is just going to be a light structure. Where the value of this is really going to come in for you specifically is going to be through the one-on-one meetings. And, you know, we're going to have a strict once a month policy, at least at first, but through these online Slack channels and these other things, you're going to have direct access to Kenyatta and myself. If you have a question or anything that you need to move forward on the next step of a transaction or an opportunity or something like that, you'll have access to us. So we're going to still be able to help. But in general, we're going to follow those general themes throughout the next couple of months, with sprinkles in of market reports and market updates and different things that could be coming up throughout that time. But in general, that's going to be the process and flow. So if you have not received the email, if you've checked your email and you have not received it, or if you're interested in hearing more, put your email up in the chat up here, because I believe I have some phone numbers. I don't have emails for everybody. And then I can do my best to keep up everybody update moving forward. Kenyatta, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Joyce had a question in regards to we'll be keeping it to 1 hour. On the one-on-one classes, training, mentoring, they will be 1 hour to 1.5 hours, depending on the structure of the course and what the topics are. But that is, and then if people have more questions in the interim, we'll be doing that via text messaging or doing the Slack channel more so, because that'll be our private communication with the community. And I hope that's answering the questions better.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, Kenyatta?
Yeah, so I wanted to tell you that I'm very excited because of the partners we've attained over this past year and a half, and who the speakers are going to be coming out. Next Wednesday, this is going to be dynamic. I have Claudia Hibbert coming on. She is a top performing agent in EXP, has almost 1,000 agents under her. She is an icon agent. And she's going to come on here and help teach you how to become like her. And she's going to open up some of her teachings to you as well. But you have to be on next Wednesday. So tell somebody else about it. Let's pack the house. This lady's in Florida, so we're not just in California, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, no, Texas, no, Hong Kong. We are even in Florida. We're grabbing this whole thing by the horns and really going places. So get ready for something amazing. Claudia is a young lady that has started her life out with struggles, but has really turned over the leaf. You talked about a story and a motivation. She is doing big things in the community, big things in real estate. She is just phenomenal. We were on the phone with her yesterday, or today, I was, and I've been speechless. I've been talking to her for two months now. And we finally got a date locked in where she has a time. She's been traveling and speaking. So this is huge. Next Wednesday will be huge, enormous. I'm telling you. Clarissa, get your team on out there. Get some people that you're trying to recruit. If you guys know anyone that you're trying to get into EXP and you're struggling getting them on, or you know some people that you just want to change their life and bless their life, get them on our call next Wednesday night at 5 p.m. because it is going to be fire. I'm just saying it's going to be fire. She brings the heat. She brings a cycle of knowledge to this Zoom that even I don't possess. I learn from others. I learn from her. I learn from Brian. I learned from Brent Grove. I've got, and they're all going to come on here. Brent has already told me this just last week. He's going to come on this call. If you don't know who Brent Grove is, I need you to check him out. Go to YouTube, go to Facebook, whatever. Check him out. He's coming on. But check out Claudia Ann Hibbert. She's on Instagram, Facebook. Go into EXP World, whatever. This lady is a marketing genius as far as real estate goes. She is a genius in investments, everything. And she's going to be on this call with us answering your questions. So get your questions ready, get your agents ready, get your people together, bring them on here, and let's blow this thing up. Let's treat her like the icon she is. Let's take our hats off to her and let's celebrate having someone with massive knowledge. Let's respect that and her time, and let's make it the best Zoom call she's been on. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
I'm really pumped up. She motivates me. And she's going to show us how to do some stuff in Canva. Possibly, I don't know, but I mainly want her to share her story with everyone on here, because that is going to really motivate you in a different manner that is hard to describe. But a mother at the age of 14, okay, now she owns multiple properties, multiple homes. She's actually giving away properties to people. Couldn't keep a job before. I don't want to mess her story up, but my God, this lady's powerful. And we have access. She's part of the team. She's part of the family. And I'm happy to say that. These are just some of the things that we're going to be doing and bringing your way. Because, yes, Tori and I both have enormous amount of education in the real estate realm. We have an enormous amount of contacts. But if we're not sharing knowledge with you and we're hoarding it and keeping it to ourselves, then it's not giving you the benefit, correct? So everything we do is to benefit each and every one of you and to make your lives better, make you more prosperous. And I love how Torre structured the wording on let's where are you going to be at in 3 years? Because that's what we want to concentrate on. We don't want to concentrate on tomorrow, because tomorrow it's going to come and it's going to go, right? And I speak this a lot on here, about the vision, right? In the biblical sense, Habakkuk 2:2 says to write the vision down and make it plain, and so that all that reads it may run with it. So that's what we've done. That is what Torre and I have created, is a vision and a path to help you achieve and attain success. These systems that we've built will really help you come out of everything that you're in or have been in, and really step up your game, step up your coaching, step up your teaching, step up your real estate business. How you're doing it. If you're a recluse or reclusive person, introverted person, we're going to help teach you how to be that temporary extrovert. We're going to teach you how to come out of these things through our role playing, our acting out things, our discussions. And we're going to be opening up more and having you come on the Zoom calls and talk a little bit more, get you comfortable with being in front of an audience. Because every time you go out, and he talked about, how many people you got to see, right? You got to have so many to hit so many numbers. I like to try to focus on meeting 3 new people a day. If I can, I just go up, say hi. I'll say hi. I'll strike up a conversation. My wife and I went to this fabulous concert the other day. Not a concert, but it was a play. She'll have to say the name of it again, but it was supposed to be a horror thing, but they were doing aerobics, not aerobics, but acrobatics and stuff. And it was really cool. And there was a lady in front of us, and she was with a gentleman. We were on the second row, she was on the first. And she's throwing money out at this comedian to get him going, right? So I struck up a conversation with her. I'm like, You got it going on, girl. How'd you do that? Where'd you get the nerve to do that? We just started talking. And, my wife was like, you just talk to anybody. Yes, I do. And I slip them a card because you never know. Today, I received two, not one, but two phone calls from agents that I slipped cards to or I said hello to from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. They reached out to me today. So you just, you never know, but you got to increase. You're not going to meet people unless you greet people, right? So that's what we're going to structure, because that's going to make you successful down the road. There's some stuff in the chat box I haven't been able to look at. Let's see. She's technology challenged. Have a problem. We will get you. Torre can do a one-on-one call and get you set up with Slack. Mm-hmm. Anyone else is challenged with technology or anything, call myself or Torre. Torre, could you put your phone number in the text chat box so they can reach out to you? And we'll get you through all that, we want to help you with everything. And Slack is extremely easy once you get in there. We can share documents, photos, we can share all kinds of things very easily within the Slack channel once we have that up and going. Get you in there. It does take a little time. I had trouble getting signed into it at first, but once I got into it and learned it, it was a breeze. So, and again, this is going to be our community to help each and every one of you. And it's going to be in one location, okay? Because sometimes the text mail, it only goes to one person or whatever. This can come to both Torre, myself, and any of our admin that we put in there. So your questions do not get overlooked, and you receive the help you need in a timely manner. And also in there, you'll see that, okay, Clarissa needs help as well. We got you covered, young lady. There's your number. If you have my number, hit me up and we'll walk you through it step by step. Not a problem, because we don't want anybody to be challenged with anything. We want to make sure that you're all overcomers, right? So I can never get enough of teaching about vision, because that without vision, people perish. So we want you to have a vision, and we don't want you to have a vision of just tomorrow, because tomorrow's inclusive. We want you to have a 3-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year. That's where we're headed, because this is a career, and real estate is one of the richest and wealthiest careers that a person can get into. But it can also break you if you're listening to all these other gurus and people out here trying to sell you stuff or get you into their programs or their assistants or buying leads. Whoa, I'm going to let Claudette talk to you about buying leads. It's the worst thing ever. Worst thing. Tell you, you don't need to do that. You just need to do what we're trying to teach and coach you with. We're going to make you overcomers and everything. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over and I apologize for my low energy today. My head is hurting, but I'm excited and I'm happy to see everyone on here. And I know there's more listening in on YouTube. This is live on YouTube. You can go back and watch our YouTube on Team Goins Realty. And you can check out some of the other things that we've had on, or some of our other guests. And you can stay on top of what we're doing. And we're going to get better and better and better as we go. I'm going to be releasing some of the books that we wrote. And we've got manuals, we've got all types of things. We can't wait to get in your hands. We can't wait to get it in other people's hands. So let's get some more people to join up with us. And let's lock arms, let's lock hands, and let's create something great together. Hooray, it's all you.
That was the perfect way to close it. Yep, we're just excited and looking forward to connecting with you one-on-one. Like I said, I sent the message out this morning with information on how to join all of our different communication channels, as well as how to sign up for your first one-on-one meeting. So I did set up this new link, so I need to make sure that it's working. So you know how technology is. So if you did not receive the email, please let me know. I can send you the link directly. And I got Clarissa's information, so I just sent her the email as well. And then Joyce, I'll send it to you via text since I don't have your email, but we can get that later on. But anyways, everybody, thank you again for your time. I look forward to connecting with you soon, and we'll be back next week for another jam-packed, awesome call. I can't wait for it. So thank you everybody for your time. We'll talk soon. Kenyatta, you got to do your sign off. You're on mute. Nope, you're on mute. You got to do it again.
Okay. All right. Hey, and as always, I apologize for that. But as always, may God's best be yours. We'll see you next week. Tell somebody about it. Let's fill up this channel. We can hold hundreds of people we can host. Get them on here. Have a wonderful week. God bless you.
God bless everyone. Have a great night.